YouTube, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. It is your boy ZAEE back on your screen. Now today, guys, I have something a little bit different for you guys today. I wanted to make this video because one of my supporters suggested in one of my last videos in the comments that I should probably make a video similar to this. So I'm gonna start a little series for you guys, helping you guys out, especially my new players who are new to COD. I'm gonna help you guys out. The best things you could be doing right now to help better your skills as a new COD player. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be how to find guns that are best suited for you, how to play better when playing in games against other people who are better than you, and just how to be an overall great player. But for this specific video, guys, I'm gonna be showing you guys how you, as a new player, if you are new to COD, you feel what I'm saying, can find the best class setups for any gun in this game. Now, I'm sure a lot of you new players are seeing these YouTubers who are coming on and finding these guns that they're using, and it makes it seem like pretty much they're having no recoil in their guns, as much aim assist as possible, and they're just automatically really good with the gun. Well, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you can do to also help you find the best gun and the setup for attachments that work best for you. So guys, for perfect example, right, I'm gonna grab any class here on my screen for you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna I'm gonna start a random class for you guys, right? All right, and we're gonna pick any gun, right? So let's say, for example, you guys want to use, let's go to a battle rifle, for example. Okay, guys, so we're gonna use a battle rifle. We're gonna stick right here. Now, typically battle rifles are really good. You guys can see your stats right here. If you guys want, I can pull up for you guys right here on the screen. Now, as you guys can see, here are the stats for example, the BAS B. See, but just by looking at the stats, you guys can tell that you see a lot of green on here, but you also see a lot of red. So first thing you want to look at is when you look at these stats, you see that the main thing that this gun has that is in green is damage, range, recoil control, and that's pretty much it. Fire rate is dropped a lot. As you guys can see, we have accuracy dropped a lot, we have mobility dropped a lot, and then we also have handling that's dropped pretty low as well. You know what I'm saying? This is just one example, so I'm going to choose another example in a sec. But when you're looking at a gun, you want to find the pros and the cons to the overall base weapon, because when you're usually, as a new player, you don't get any attachments for the gun. You know what I'm saying? You start out with the base gun and you have to pretty much use it and level it up in order to unlock attachments for the gun. You feel what I'm saying? So another gun that I'm pretty sure you guys as new players are going to start with is going to be the MTZ. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to just click it, for example, right? Base weapon, and we're going to click here, and as you guys can see, here are our stats. We have a base weapon here, so you don't see anything, right? Boom. Everything looks good, but as you can see, we have damage is not as high as it should be. It's pretty good there. Range is pretty decent. It's below 50% range, as you guys can see on the screen. Recoil just a little bit above 50%. The main thing this gun I see has a lot of is accuracy, mobility, and handling, and a little bit more fire rate than average. Okay, so the one thing that you want to work on when it comes to this gun, or even unlocking when it comes to this gun, is attachments that's going to help you with the damage, the range, and the recoil control. All right, base weapon, I'm gonna take this into the fire range so you guys can see for yourself. This is base MTZ. Like I said, a lot of you guys that are new players are going to start off with the weapon at default, and you're not going to have any attachments whatsoever for this gun, so you're going to have to work with it like this. You know what I'm saying? And as you guys can see, it's not as bad at close range. You're not getting as much recoil. You know what I'm saying? It's not too bad, but at range, if we go like right here and we shoot, you see the bullets go kind of wonky a little bit there. And that's me not even controlling the recoil, so I mean, it doesn't have that great range at default, as you guys can tell. We can even come here and test it on the dummies. Close range, mid range is okay, and then far range, you see it's kind of all over the place. Accuracy dropped exponentially. All right. So that's just one thing you guys can look at when it comes to dealing with how to find what you need to put on your guns. Now, as a new player, like I said, you're gonna have to level up your gun a lot. So I do recommend using your double weapon XP as much as you can if you have any to start off with, and also catching those double weapon XP weekends whenever they drop them, just to get attachments to unlock for your gun. But we're gonna get out of this for a sec here. When I'm making my classes, typically I like to play around with a different bunch of things to find out what best works for the gun. So as you guys can see right now, we're looking at down at the bottom left, you guys see some modifications. We can see our stats right there, clear as day with the bar. We got damage, fire rate, range, accuracy, recoil control, mobility, and handling. Now, just by looking at those bars, you see damage is pretty up. It's not the best, but it's pretty up there. We have fire rate, which is actually very up there, which is really good. We have range, which is below average. We need that range to come up, and we have accuracy that's pretty up there as well, close to fire rate. Not as good as fire rate, but it's pretty up there, which is pretty good. Recoil control is pretty up there as well. Mobility and handling is up there as well. Just by looking at that bar, first things first, you guys clearly can see that we need to up the range on this weapon. We need to up the recoil control on this weapon, and we also need to up the damage just a little bit if we can. If not, it's fine. Damage is still cool because as long as we have that range is going to help that damage increase automatically. And if we can possibly also increase the accuracy. All right. First thing you want first, when it comes to dealing with anything dealing with range on a weapon, we're going to be talking about the barrel. So we're going to first start off with the barrel. Okay. So we're going to pretty much go through and look for the barrel that has the most increase on specific stats. So when you go scrolling through these attachments, once of course you get them all unlocked, obviously I have them all unlocked, but you see right here for the very first one we have, it says pros, we have bullet velocity, which is going to increase your bullet damage as well, and it's how fast your bullet hits. We have damage range, and we have aim and idle sway, and firearm stability. Now just off the jump, you see the greens that it also increases. We see it increases damage, it increases range, and increases accuracy. For a better look at this, you can press LT here and it pull up the stats right here perfect. Now the main thing we were looking for to increase was the range. And as you can see, we have all greens. Bullet velocity is increased, minimal damage range, and effective damage range is increased by 21, 21, and 26. All right. Then we have damage, which is also increased just a little bit. It doesn't say what specifically it increases, but as you can see, it is a little green movement off the bar. Then also recoil control also does the same thing, and a little bit of accuracy as well, even though it says it drops the stats. Again, pay attention to the gun that you're using, because if you like this, for example, this is an AR. You know what I'm saying? So ARs, you don't typically see a lot of hip firing when it comes to ARs. So as you guys can see right here for accuracy bar, it says hip fire spread, and then tactical stance. We don't really care too much about anything dealing with hip fire because this is an AR, right? This is an assault rifle. We don't really care too much about it. If this was an SMG, it'd make a lot more sense, or if it was a shotgun, it'd make a lot more sense. So we're not really paying attention to those as much. So even though those seem red, we're not going to pay no attention to it at all. The main thing we want to focus on when it comes to accuracy is the flinch resistant, all right? And we're going to get into that in just a sec. But again, looking at that stat, you see it says the pros, and we're going to go to the next one. We're going to see what other ones also help increase those specific stats. So this one obviously says sprint to fire speed and speed. This is all particularly pertaining to speed, so we don't really care too much for it. Then we go to the next one. The next one also says recoil control, which is one thing we do need. And then it also says gun kick control. That's another good one. Now, that's a good one because of the fact it increases the gun kick control, which is the recoil and how much the gun moves when you're shooting it. This is another one right here. Perfect. We have pretty much everything from the first attachment and the third attachment, which is the two things we're looking for, which is the bullet velocity increase, damage range, and then also the recoil control. This has it right here. We see it has bullet velocity and range, aim and idle sway, recoil control, and gun kick control. All right. And the last two, obviously, you see this one's also speed, and this one's also for hip fire and spread and all that. We don't really care too much for it. So obviously, the one that we're going to be looking for is going to be this one right here, the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel. Now, again, like I said, the main things we're looking for, you can see range is increased, damage is increased, and also accuracy is increased, and a little bit of recoil control. We're gonna hit LT here, and as you can see, the stats are all green. Everything that we need to be green is moved up. We have damage moved up, as you can see the bar on the left there. We have range moved up exponentially. We have recoil moved up, as you see, it's all green. Then we have accuracy also, bar is also moved up, which is great. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that attachment on this class. I don't know how many of you guys typically like to play with the muzzle or like to, use the muzzle, but let me tell you one thing for sure, right? We can actually click this, and I'm gonna give you guys a heads up. Suppressors are not good, okay? Unless you're a stealthy player, which I mean, it don't even make really much sense because, I mean, if you're running with Ghost or a Ninja, whatever the case may be, or Dead Silence, you're gonna be getting around the map pretty fast anyway, so I don't really see a point in putting on any suppressor. Yeah, it makes the gun silent, it makes the gun sounds pretty nice, but I don't recommend it, you know what I'm saying? But hey, let me just say, there's some muzzles in here that do a really good thing for your gun, but it also subtracts a lot of things that we actually might need for our weapons as well. So I typically don't even go for the muzzles, but you guys can also look around if you guys want to just, try something out. You know what I'm saying? You can look through the stats, but be mindful. Whatever you put on, just know if it drops any of your main stats that you need for your weapon, as far as for this specific weapon, the MTZ, if it drops anything dealing with damage, range, accuracy, or recoil, it's a no-go. Don't put it on. I'm telling you, you don't want to jeopardize that. This gun already has a lot of speed. You know what I'm saying? So, being a matter of fact, it has a lot of speed. You can sacrifice some speed from the main bar, but don't sacrifice it too much if it's going to jeopardize anything else that you need. All right, so now, after you guys look for muzzle, me personally, I don't really look for the muzzle, like I said, unless it's like something that, unless I go through every other attachment and I find out every other attachment drops things that I need. I have 4 attachments completely on already, and I have 1 remaining. then okay, cool, I'll say cool, let me go to a muzzle, see if I can find a muzzle that's also gonna boost the stats that I already have on this current weapon. Now, before we find our next attachment, as far as when any dealing with any gun, I already have my first attachment. We're gonna go back into the fire range with this exact setup, and I'm gonna test it, right? So we're gonna test it now. It's a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit better so far. Not the best. That range is still a little bit wonky. All right. So what that's telling me, as you can see, for long range, because this is it, like I said, this is an AR. So if you're playing with ARs and not subs right now, if you're playing with ARs and you're testing, you're seeing that it's bouncing a lot at long range. You don't want that. Mid range, you see, not as bad. Close range, really good. But that long range, that means we have to work on something with the gun kick and the recoil control. All right. So with that being said, that means we're gonna go into underbarrel. Underbarrel is what's gonna help you control the kick of your gun. Okay. It's going to help control the bouncing, the horizontal recoil control, the vertical recoil control. We need all that, all right? So we're going to play around and look and see which one works best for this specific gun. The main thing we're looking for right now is recoil control or anything. So anything dealing with gun kick, recoil control, mainly vertical, because that's what causes the gun to jump up and down, not horizontal. Horizontal is what causes the gun to move left and right. If your gun is shooting and you see it shoot, when you shoot, it moves left and right when you shoot the gun, then that's when you focus on horizontal recoil control. Otherwise, you do not need to really worry about horizontal recoil control and more so on the vertical side of the recoil. Now, just by scrolling through these, you guys can see, we'll start with the first ones. Once, like I said, I have plenty of attachments unlocked. I'm level 320 right now. So, I mean, don't pay attention to the ones I put on, but I'm telling you, when you're looking for your gun, find the one that best is suited for you, okay? So as I'm scrolling through, you guys can see the first thing I notice is right here, the very first one I have is mainly dealing with speed. I see a lot of speed on that, so we're gonna automatically cancel it out because it's not what we're looking for. The second one I go to, I see aiming, walking speed. I see vertical control, which is one thing I do need. I see gun kick control, which is another thing I do need. But if I'm looking at my stats bar, I'm not really seeing any drastic increase in the things that I need, so we're gonna skip past that one. As you're scrolling through these attachments, man, make sure you're watching that stat bar, because those stats bars are gonna tell you what it is that's dropping, what it is that's increasing, pros and cons. And when you're looking for a specific thing that needs to go on your gun, you have to make sure you keep your eye on those bars. So we're just scrolling through until we see which one that we need. Now I see this one says horizontal recoil control and gun kick control. Now, yes, I see that does increase the recoil control and the accuracy bar, but like again, I said before, this MTZ does not need horizontal recoil control. It needs vertical recoil control. So we're gonna be looking for something that says vertical recoil control. And just pay attention. Just pay attention. Watch. Make sure you're watching those bars, because a lot of things up here, especially if you lock a lot of attachments like I have, then you're gonna have to really scroll through. Now this right here, this is increasing a lot of that accuracy, but we're not really focused on accuracy. We're trying to find something that controls the recoil. So we're gonna keep scrolling here until we find what we're looking for. And keep in mind, a lot of these attachments are repetitive. They have the same stats, just different aesthetic look. It said so this pretty much has everything we're looking for essentially. But it says gun kick control, vertical recoil. Then we have aim and idle sway and firing aim stability. So pretty much it's gonna help everything with the recoil right here. This one attachment right here. I'm sure there's another one. If I keep scrolling, we have another one right here. But this also takes away from, this also just mainly focuses on speed and gun kick control. But this one right here works mainly to increase that recoil control. You see the bar stat right there increased a lot. If we look right here, recoil control, we have recoil gun kick up and we have vertical recoil up as well, 30%. Horizontal recoil control we're not really caring about. Like I said, that's the main thing we're focused on, is that vertical. So now if I go ahead and throw this on and I go into the firing range, let's test this out. Not bad, not bad. We still need more though. We need more for sure. Still shooting up. Still shooting pretty decently up. With that being said, now we're gonna go over to our rear grip. Rear grip is another way to also help control that recoil. You know what I'm saying? The recoil is decent, but it can be a lot better, right? And we're gonna just play around with this real quick to see if we can find one that's a lot better. So first things first, I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing a few things here. I'm seeing that a lot of these attachments that I'm putting on are actually decreasing some things, but the cons that I'm seeing, they're not negative cons. You know what I'm saying? They're things that we don't really care too much about. For example, I see aim walking speed, don't really care too much about it. Aim idle sway, It's okay. Aim, walk, and steadiness. Okay. This one right here obviously drops the flinch resistant by 2, and then the gun kick control, which we both need. We need both of those, so we can't even use that one at all. And mainly because it focuses on speed, we don't really care too much about speed. Secondly, the thing I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at flinch resistant, and I'm also looking at gun kick control. The gun kick control is also going to show you how much the gun kicks as you're shooting at targets or enemies. So I do recommend putting on an attachment that has more control for the gun kick as well. I know I said focus on flinch resistant as well, but like again, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but the reflex or any type of sight that you throw on your weapon also helps with that flinch resistant. A lot of the time the stats is going to say flinch resistant on there. Or even so, if you're using a perk, there's a perk that also allows you to help increase that flinch resistant when you're getting shot at by enemies. So typically there's going to be about 4 rear grips on most of your guns, 4 or less, maybe 5. So find the one that best suits as far as gun kick control, which right here, as you see, I have the Bruin TR24 assault grip. This is going to be the best one for the gun kick control. That's why I'm probably going to throw this one on just for this gun exactly. And boom. So far, if you look at the modification stat bar, you see where we're at as far as green, or as far as red. Mobility and handling was already up there as it needed to be, and firing rate was also up there as well. So the things that we need to be green right now are staying green, which is really good. We have damage increase in green, we have range, accuracy, and recoil control, which is also increased on green, which is a great thing to have. So next thing we're gonna go to now, if you guys are like me, you know what I'm saying, you guys like to play with an optic on most of your guns. So we're gonna find the optic that best suits for you, unless of course you like the iron sight on this, which I generally do not. Some guns have some great looking iron sights where I won't play with the reflex, and if I don't play with reflex, that also gives me an open free slot in the modifications stat bar as far as adding another attachment on, so I can substitute the attachment of the reflex sight for another attachment, which is great. But for this specific gun, I'm gonna have to add a reflex sight because I just don't like the iron sight on this gun. It looks absolutely terrible, and if you like it, that is completely on you. A thing to note too, that is when you add a reflex sight to any of your guns, it's going to increase the range and the accuracy of range with your gun as well. So key note. All right, so we have a reflex now, right? Pretty dope. Okay, cool. Now you have one more slot available. Now we can either, depending on how things is looking for your gun right now, you know what I'm saying, we have a 30, this gun comes with a 30 round mag, so I don't know how you guys feel about that magazine. If you guys can do something with that, you guys can or increase it to 50. But before we do that, check your stock, because it could be a stock that also could increase your gun kick control, and if that is the case, then you have to go ahead and throw that on as well, because like I said, you want to pretty much make your gun as accurate as possible for you in the best way as possible. So with that being said, we're going to scroll through here and find what works best. We have one here that says gun kick control. Great. We have another one here that says gun kick control and recoil control, which is a great stat. That's 2 good stats right there. Another one right here that has recoil control and gun kick control. Repetitive, you know what I'm saying? But the only difference between these two is this one drops down your aim down sight speed, and this one drops your movement speed overall with this gun, which we don't really want. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep some of our movement speed so we can still be able to move fast. And then we have the other two, which are pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so the main ones we're looking at right now is going to be this one and this one, because of the fact that they have this 2 of the same stats. Right now, the thing about this one right here is that even though it drops the speed with your gun, it also increases double with the recoil control and gun kick control, which is a good thing to have. So you got to think about this. Do you want to sacrifice most of your speed, or do you want to sacrifice just one of your speed, which is aim down sight speed, which is a crucial thing to have because you want to be able to aim down fast. So with that being said, as I'm looking at it right now, I'm going to pick this one. Right? Doesn't seem bad at all. Looks pretty good. And we're going to give this a try. Now, if we don't like the way it feels as far as speed, then we're going to switch to the other one, okay? See? Accuracy a lot better at range. Accuracy a lot better at range. You seen that? A lot better. You can feel how smooth that this gun is shooting. You can feel that it's not bouncing as much at the range. You feel what I'm saying? You could tell just by playing with it. Even so, you can test your speed with it just by sliding around in the firing range a few times. Slide up to line of sight. Boom. Boom. See what I'm saying? Boom. A lot better. A lot better. Even so, you can see your gun is not even jumping as much as it was. That's really, really good. drastic changes. I'm telling you, you guys can see it just as I see it. And this pretty much goes for any gun. Like any gun you do, if you go through this and sit back and just play around with the firing range and test the guns out, test the attachments out, look for the attachments that counteract the pretty much base gun of how it came, you can find and make any best class setup for any one of your guns, specifically designed for you, especially as a new player. You feel what I'm saying? So I hope you guys took something out of this video. Hope you guys learned something from this video. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. If you guys happen to like this video helped you in any single way, please show some love by smashing the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It has been your boy ZAEE. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm out. Peace.